Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unapologetic Radio, where I share my thoughts and opinions on things that are happening. If you do not like my show, please move on. This is my health series and is here to educate you. Please know that when it comes to health, some pictures are very graphic and is intended for educational purposes only. This is not porn, and the pictures that I show can be found on the internet. Warning, this is graphic and for the ages of 18 and up. If you are a child, I encourage parental supervision. Legally, I am supposed to say that. I am not a doctor. I research facts, reiterate them, and I give my opinion. This is for adults that have seemed to forgotten about how to take care of their health, and for all the teens or preteens, and most importantly, the nonsense having millennials. Do not record yourself having sex. There is more than enough porn on TV and the internet for either one of you to replay. Unless you want to be humiliated, disrespected, and shamed, do not do a sex tape. Let's tell the truth. If you plan on staying with your partner and you respect them, you keep your intimacy to yourself. Do not allow the other party to take a special moment. It can ruin your life forever. Things cannot be removed off the internet. They'll be there and people will copy them quickly. Just look at Ray J and Kim Kardashian's sex tape. The tape ruined that man's life. Why should you use protection? Oh, raw feels so good. Well, let me tell you what comes out of unprotected sex. What are the 5 most common STDs? Let me tell you. It's HPV, chlamydia, gonorrhea, genital herpes, HIV, AIDS. Again, I am not a doctor. These facts can be found online, also through your doctor, so please do research. I encourage you to do so. Let's talk about HPV. The correct name is human papillomavirus. I hope I'm saying that properly. But the street term and the more common term is HPV. It's the most common STD. The CDC reports that nearly 80 million people are infected with HPV in the United States, including 14 million being teenagers. There is generally no treatment for HPV. Rather, the infection oftentimes cleans up on its own. Still, it's important to receive regular STD testing if you are sexually active to learn if you have acquired this infection and if you have the strand HPV 16 or HPV 18 that may lead to cancer. The HPV vaccine can also protect men and women from this infection. It's most effective when given between the ages of 11 and 12. Before you're even thinking about sex, although older teens and young adults can also receive the vaccination. Generally, it's regarded non as effective if given to patients that are older than 26 years old. You can get HPV from any skin-to-skin contact of the genital area, vaginal, anal, or oral sex, and sharing sex toys. Symptoms of HPV, human papillomavirus. HPV does not usually cause any symptoms. Most people who have it does not realize and do not have any problems or symptoms. But sometimes the virus can cause painless growings or lumps around the vagina, penis, or anal, known as genital warts. You can have it even if you have not been sexually active or had a new partner for years. So that shows you how this virus stores itself. So just because they look clean doesn't always mean that they are clean. Chlamydia. Chlamydia is the most reported STD, which is an STD that must be reported to local health departments when diagnosed. It is a bacterial infection that can often be cured with a round of antibiotics. Untreated, chlamydia can cause serious health complications for women, as the infection can spread to the uterus and fallopian tubes and lead to a pelvic inflammatory disease, a condition that can result in permanent damage to the reproductive system. Not everyone with chlamydia will have symptoms, but those that do may experience painful urethration, pain during sex, abdominal pain, rectal pain, discharge or bleeding, abdominal discharge from the genitals. The best way to prevent chlamydia is to engage in safe sex by using condoms and to get regularly tested if you are sexually active, especially if you're not in a monogamous relationship with a disease-free partner. And I want to show you what fellatio oral sex does to your mouth. Back to my point of why we have moved forward from the act of kissing. Remember, when anticipating that kiss, not anticipating a peck or a hug. Just saying. And I'm talking about tongue kissing for hours, getting butterflies, waiting for the right moment. And that's out the door. Look at chlamydia versus gonorrhea for a minute. Gonorrhea, the third most common STD and second most reported one. Gonorrhea is a bacterial infection that can be successfully treated with antibiotics. Delaying treatment, however, can lead to medical complications. Like chlamydia untreated, gonorrhea can cause pelvic inflammatory disease in women. It can also increase risk of contracting HIV. Most gonorrhea cases doesn't present with symptoms, but some of the most common signs of this infection include painful urethration, abdominal discharge from the genitals, bleeding between periods in women, swollen testicles in men. A mother can also pass gonorrhea to her baby during childbirth. That's why medical professions encourage pregnant women to receive STD testing before they give birth. Genital herpes is very common and does not always have symptoms, or the symptoms are so mild you may not know that you have been infected. How is it spread? Genital herpes is caused by two strands, herpes simplex virus type 1, known as HSV-1, and herpes simplex virus type 2, known as HSV-2. You can contract one or both. HSV-1 causes cold sores on the face. However, it can be transmitted to the genital area through oral sex and an infected person. HSV-2 causes genital herpes and is transmitted by having anal, vaginal, and oral sex with a person who is infected. What are the symptoms? Symptoms include blisters that turn into painful open sores that last about a week. How can it be cured? No, it cannot be. But medications are available that can shorten the length of an outbreak and lessen the severity of symptoms. If you like my show, hit that like button, subscribe so that you get all the new content, and tell your family and friends about Unapologetic Radio, because I am here to educate when I can and just refresh our minds. And that's why the name of this is Refresher Course. Refresh our minds on things that we think are no longer there. People, these viruses and diseases are still out there, and they're more common than ever, and they're spreading faster than ever. Now, last but not least, human immunodeficiency virus, HIV/AIDS, weakens a person's immune system by destroying important immune system cells that fight diseases and infections. How is it spread? The most common ways HIV is spread are through sexual behaviors and needle sharing or syringe use. What are the symptoms? HIV itself does not have symptoms. HIV is a virus that can develop into AIDS. If AIDS develop, an infected person immune system becomes so suppressed that it cannot fight off the other infections, causing symptoms from those infections. The medications used to treat HIV infections may cause symptoms, and these are permanent symptoms because you need this in order to suppress what is happening. Can it be cured? No. However, there are antiviral medicines that, when taken properly and forever, can lower the amount of virus in the infected person to undetectable levels. Through non-disease-free, people with undetectable levels of the virus are also non-contagious through sexual activity. There is also a medicine called PrEP that, when taken correctly, reduces the chances of contracting HIV if you are at risk. PrEP is used as an additional prevention measure and is not meant to replace other safety measures, such as using a condom. Now, if you like, again, hit that like button. And if you want to support the channel, my Cash App is in the description, and I thank you so much in advance. Sex. It's not just sex, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. When having sex, you exchange bodily fluids with each other. Everyone, it only takes one time. Speaking of one time, it only takes one time to get pregnant. Let me repeat this. You only have to have sex one time to get pregnant, virgin or non-virgin. And that one time of having unprotected sex can change our life forever. With pregnancy, it's not just your life or your partner's life it's affecting, but it's the families and the people around you within your community. Providing that the man and his family claims your child, this is what they don't tell you. See, it has to be understood union that y'all are going to be together for at least 18 years of that child's life. At least give them that. People make having babies look so easy and fun, because let me tell you, who takes care of these kids? The government and other hardworking Americans. Because, and this is why, personal opinion, but statistics show that the average woman pregnant ends up on the system, and it's because the family and the baby daddy is non-supportive of them. So before you have children, make sure that the man is supportive, the families are supportive, everyone is on board, because it does take a village to raise a child, but it takes your villages to raise the child, not the population. Now, I would also highly suggest that you make sure that you are properly educated and that you have some sort of job or career. And very important, because most young people do not, have an established bank account without the help of that yearly earned tax care credit. Y'all all know what I'm talking about. Having kids is no joke, and it's even harder when there is no foundation the kids are born into. If you have them, just please have your life together and don't do it out of just love, because it takes more than a temporary moment of pleasure to raise a child. Yes, working Americans is working Americans' taxes that fuel WIC, EBT, food stamps, and Section 8. And I know as soon as you know you are pregnant, family, friends, and coworkers are quick to tell you about the things that WIC and welfare offers. But that is for people in need, not for people that have had a one night of passion or took it as he'll if I have this baby, he'll stay. So I'm going to give you some free advice on how not to become a statistic. I am going to give you a secret the government will never say to you, because if they did, it would stop all the bondage to the system that really doesn't do anything good or have any good advice for us about financial independence. If you think you are or want to get pregnant, I want you to start going to the store and looking at the prices of milk, kids' juices, children's furniture, and clothing. Imagine paying rent for a bigger spot right now to provide that extra room for the baby. Because good development is for the baby and you both to have your separate space. Call the doctors and the dentists and ask them how much cleanings and procedures cost. And then ask yourself, can you pay out of pocket, or do you maintain the type of job or have a career that provides you with insurance for you to take care of these things? If the answer is no, then I highly suggest you say no to reproducing at this time in your life, or until you get these things squared away and it becomes a natural practice for you. If you can give me a solid yes without thinking, then yes, have as many babies as you can provide for without the help of public assistance. Now, I am not a doctor. These facts can be found online, also through your doctors. So please do research. I encourage you to do so. Look at those statistics and those numbers. Look at someone you know and ask yourself, do I want to be like that? Do I want to adapt to that struggle? If the next person couldn't do it and figure it out, what makes you think that you're going to change a million people's minds because you just have it all figured out? Remember, it's not just sex. It is an exchange of body fluids. It is a life changer. Ask your partner or potential partner questions. But most importantly, ask your doctor how to protect yourself. And abstinence is always best. Until you have yourself together, practice abstinence. You'll find it makes the heart and the mind work so much better. Well, thank you guys for your support. If you like my show and want to support my channel, my Cash App is in the description. Please like, subscribe, and share this video and tell all your family, friends, and coworkers all about Unapologetic Radio. Until next time, please be blessed and be safe.